Hello everybody, welcome back to Triple I TV. We just got the first full official trailer for Loki Season 2 and it looks fantastic. Go ahead and let us know your thoughts about this trailer in the comments down below. Right away, there's a lot to break down in this trailer. The God of Mischief is back, along with pretty much everybody from the first season, and some new characters as well. And keep in mind that this show is going to directly set up Avengers Secret Wars, our next Avengers in-game level event, where we are essentially going to see the multiverse collapse and incursions occur. If you are not familiar with the incursion, was explained by Reed Richards in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. To be when two universes basically lose the line of the reality between the two of them, and two universes then collide into each other, destroying one or both. That is essentially what is going to happen in Secret Wars. Loki Season 2 is really going to kick this off. It was really kicked off with Loki Season 1. If you recall, at the end of the Loki Season 1, Loki and Sylvie finally reached the true creator of the TVA. He Who Remains, who was a variant of Nathaniel Richards aka Kang the Conqueror. We see Victor Timely in this trailer, who is a variant of Kang the Conqueror. But make no mistakes, Victor Timely is not a past version of the Kang the Conqueror, who has not become Kang yet. If it's anything like the comics, then this character is already Kang the Conqueror. But don't worry, we'll break it down, everything you need to know about this trailer in this video. We actually have a good idea of what the actual plot for the show is, both what is being shown to us in this trailer and what we are going to see in the Season 2. So at the end of the Loki Season 1, Sylvie killed Kang the Conqueror, or He Who Remains, the creator of the TVA. Loki then returns to the TVA and sees Agent Mobius, who he had become really good friends at the end point and he had been through a lot with. He goes to him absolutely terrified, but Mobius has no idea who he is implying. That Loki had returned to some sort of a different TVA. The camera then pans out and Loki sees a statue of He Who Remains, the Kang the Conqueror. And as it turns out, there is actually a pretty decent explanation for this. However, time is going to get kind of messy in Loki. As you can see, Loki is time glitching. More on that in just a bit, but the TVA that Loki arrives at is still the same TVA that he was at before. However, it is back in the past. Loki has traveled to the past, which should not be possible since time does not technically exist in the TVA. It exists outside of space and time, and that is why in the first scene, Erik Voss' character, who was just made Obi, says it's impossible to time slip in the TVA. However, as we can clearly see, Loki is doing it. And this is very confusing for both Obi and Mobius. Now, clearly at this point in time, Loki has either convinced Mobius that he knows him, that he has interacted with him in the past, and they have stopped a very pretty big villain. Or the fact that he is time slipping. And that's how he convinced Mobius that Loki does truly know something that's going on. And there is a huge threat coming in. And that threat is came to conquer him now. From what we know, Pihoiquan's character Obi is a big TVA legend. In fact, if what we have heard about this series is true, he is responsible for creating a lot of technology behind the TVA. Yes, Kang the Conqueror mastered the time travel and has many devices of his own, but Obi is apparently working for He Who Remains in this, and is responsible for creating things like the tent pad, and this is why we see him at the repair station here. He created it, so he knows how to repair it. But when know a little bit more about this particular TVA, and one scene in particular shows that what we have heard is true. One thing that we have heard is that Loki is going to return to a TVA, in which He Who Remains does rule over the TVA. He does run it, and he runs it very openly. People know that he is He Who Remains. There is no timekeepers at this point, not to mention the timekeepers are fake, but he is not pulled on that carrot yet. That is why Loki sees the statue of He Who Remains, the Kang the Conqueror, at the end of the Loki Season 1. He has gone back in time to a past TVA where He Who Remains openly runs TVA. However, what we have heard is that eventually He Who Remains does erase everyone's memory and creates the illusion of the timekeepers, and that is shown in one particular scene where Loki takes a broomstick to a wall that shows the timekeepers on it, and it disintegrates and shows a picture of Kang, some statues of Kang. As you can see on the left side, it's Mobius sitting in a chair. His hand goes out, originally going, "What are you doing?" But then he sees that behind this mural of the timekeepers is actually pictures of He Who Remains. We can also see a decapitated robot head on the ground in this scene, and we can just assume that this is a timekeeper, and Loki killed the timekeeper to show Mobius, hey, it's not the real timekeepers, aren't the real, it's a robot. Some madman named He Who Remains is behind all of this, and this might be the key convincing factor for Mobius here. However, I do believe that since Loki is time glitching, time slipping, this could be another point in time in the TVA, since when he originally arrives at the end of the Loki season 1. Claire, they know about He Who Remains, and in this scene, they don't know about He Who Remains, so this is after He Who Remains we have erased their memories and created timekeepers at this point. Now here's a very important scene. Obviously, in the beginning we learned that Loki is being pulled through different points in time. The past, the present, the future, and that at second scene to this trailer, we can see him time slip, and in the back we can see it says Pirhana Power Sports. And what do we see? Jet skis. If you remember from Loki season 1, Mobius loves jet skis. Although he said that he's never been on before, because he believed that he was created by the TVA and wasn't an actual variant of an actual person. However, it looks like he probably has been on one before, because it looks like we can see Owen Wilson's Mobius in the background here. If you freeze a frame at the second, you can see there are 3 people. One of them is a blonde who looks just like Mobius. I believe he probably either 1 works for Pirhana Power Sports and is trying to sell a jet ski, or 2 is trying to buy a jet ski with another woman who could possibly be his wife. Hopefully we'll find out that Mobius has indeed gotten a chance to ride a jet ski at this point in his normal human life, not his TVA life, where he thought he was simply created by the timekeeper to specifically be a TVA agent. So fingers crossed we can see Mobius riding a jet ski in Loki season 2. Now essentially what we see here is most of the returning cast. We see Hunter B-15, we see Ravana Renslayer, and we see Eugene Cordero's character Casey, who were introduced in Loki season 1, and it looks like we are seeing a combination of perhaps their earthly lives before the TV and also them helping Loki and Mobius and trying to essentially find He Who Remains. But also at the same time, they have to repair the timeline, and this is extremely important for them for 2 reasons. 1, they have to stop He Who Remains / Kang the Conqueror, and to prevent the incursion from happening, that all basically has to do with stopping the multiversal war. So Loki ends up hunting down Sylvie so the 2 of them can reunite and stop He Who Remains and basically stop a multiversal war. We find Sylvie, who was working at McDonald's, and if you recall from Loki season 1, she did not want to rule the TVA. That's why she killed He Who Remains, and we can still see that she keeps the same mentality. Don't forget, Sylvie is a variant of Loki. She is Loki, but in her responsibility to Loki, saying that we have to save this place, we have to save the TVA, because I think Loki is now on board with the fact that the TVA is actually a good thing ruled by a bad person. But the TVA does keep away the variants of Kang. In doing so, prevents other Kangs from going to other universes and essentially destroying the multiverse. It prevents multiversal war, and a part of that is keeping and maintaining sacred timelines. What's really crazy is we actually see Mobius get in a space suit that has a crack. It is fixed by duct tape, seemingly walk out on a bridge to the sacred timeline. Maybe he goes there to fix the sacred timeline. It looks like he's walking to a part where time could currently be in the process of being written. As we have learned from the first one, it seems to be that He Who Remains was writing the history of everything. And this simply could be a repairing point. I believe Mobius is going to be out through the sacred timeline to try and fix what is happening to Loki. And he could simply go out there to just inspect what exactly is going on at the point. But we do know that they returned to the Citadel, the headquarters of He Who Remains. They showed us that scene and it looks pretty much broken and run down, which makes sense. Loki and Sylvie did kill him. Depending on when they go to this at one point of time, it could have been empty for some time. Now, for this really could be a point to where the future has not been written yet. We can see a bunch of different flows of time flowing into some sort of a cylinder that goes into the sacred timeline. So it looks like Loki somehow gets Mobius and Erik Voss character Obi to go to the void to go to the citadel and physically inspect the sacred islands. And that's why Sylvie says, no matter what we do, we are playing God. Because eventually somebody is going to have to write the future. There are a couple of pretty good scenes where we are introduced to the Firecastle's character. Now they don't actually tell us his name about. From what we know, he is a former TVA agent X. He was trying to use temporal chaos to become a movie star of a Hollywood, which is what we see in the scene here is also why we see Loki pursue him. And we see a new Loki ability that we have never seen before. Loki casting shadows, and the shadows being able to physically grab the people, which we see in the scene here. So it seems like Loki is going to want to hunt him down and get some type of information from him. Of course, it is possible. I'm really glad that Marvel Studios actually showed him. They showed Jonathan Majors, and this is a good sign that they are going to keep it. Now, of course, this isn't confirmed. Jonathan Majors has another court date in August, and if he has proven innocent, then they will most likely keep him. Victor Timely is not a past version of Kang the Conqueror. He is not He Who Remains yet, but in the comics, he is actually Kang Prime. The Kang, not one of the many different variants of Kang that are out there. Nathaniel Richards discovers a time machine therein, which he travels back to the ancient Egypt, where he becomes a pharaoh Ramatut. And he rules over everything until the Fantastic Four shows up and they defeat him, ends up getting thrown through a time storm, going through different time points, in which he is then rescued by Doctor Doom. He thinks that Doctor Doom could actually be a past version of himself, so Doctor Doom helps him, and then eventually Kang just goes through different points in time and different universes and conquer all of them. He conquers many different worlds, and he already becomes pretty much the strongest being in the universe. Eventually, he conquered everything within the light years of Earth until he decided to attack his ancestors' native world of modern age Marvel. But the Avengers actually force him to flee. He then seeks a new power base, and he travels back to the AD and establishes a new identity as Victor Timely. But keep in mind, this is Kang Prime, so he goes back and becomes a brilliant inventor and industrialist. He found the city of Timely Mugenstein, becoming the first mayor, and he essentially builds a really big empire. Because of course he has access to all of the future technology, so that is what we are seeing in the trailer. We are seeing Kang Prime as Victor Timely presenting technology that he invented. Loki and Mobius managed to crack down Victor Timely. We can see here that he is putting on quite a show, as we see a very large mismatch seemingly causing, and it does look like they have managed to track him down. So Loki season 2 is all going to be about stopping Kang Prime from creating essentially a multiversal war. We even see a particular scene in this trailer that at the time mark where Loki says war is on this way, and he points to the morale of many different variants of the Kang wearing their comic accurate suit. So that is what Loki season 2 is all about. It is a huge and important show and will tie directly into the Avengers Secret Wars. So let us know what you thought about this trailer. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And do you have any theories? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Of course, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook /IIITV. And as always, thank you.